All right, welcome back, everybody. This is a continuation on our discussion on Jonah. This is Jonah Part 2. We left off in Jonah Part 1 on Jonah chapter 2, verse 6. So we'll pick it up there. To the roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me in forever. But you brought my life up from the pit, O Lord, my God. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs, but I, with a song of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. Salvation comes from the Lord. And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah on to dry land. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a very important city. A visit required 3 days. On the first day Jonah started into the city, he proclaimed, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overturned. The Ninevites believed God. They declared a fast, and all of them, from the greatest to the least, put on sackcloth. When the news reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robes, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. Then he issued a proclamation in Nineveh. By the decree of the king and his nobles, do not let any man or beast, herd or flock, taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink, but let man and beast be covered with sackcloth. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. When God saw what they did and how they turned from their evil ways, he had compassion. It did not bring upon them the destruction he had threatened. But Jonah was greatly displeased and became angry. He prayed to the Lord, "O Lord, is this not what I said when I was still at home? This is why I was so quick to flee to Tarshish. I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for it is better for me to die than to live." But the Lord replied, "Have you any right to be angry?" Jonah went out and sat down at a place east of the city. There he made himself a shelter, sat in its shade, and waited to see what would happen to the city. Then the Lord God provided a vine and made it grow up over Jonah to give shade for his head, to ease his discomfort. And Jonah was very happy about the vine. But at dawn the next day, God provided a worm, which chewed the vine so that it withered. When the sun rose, God provided a scorching east wind, and the sun blazed on Jonah's head so that he grew faint. He wanted to die and said, "It would be better for me to die than to live." But God said to Jonah, "Do you have a right to be angry about the vine?" "I do," he said. "I am angry enough to die." But the Lord said, "You have been concerned about the vine, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. But Nineveh has more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and many cattle as well. Should I not be concerned about that great city? And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the full book of Jonah. So now I'd like to give you a little background on Israel and Nineveh. The Israelites and the Ninevites were enemies. Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire that had destroyed Israel and nearly conquered Judah as well. Judah was the southern kingdom in Israel. Jesus came out of the line of Judah, and he is referred to as the Lion of Judah. The name Judah means praise, so Jesus is the Lion of praise. And in Psalm 22, verse 3, it says that God inhabits the praise of his people. So back to Nineveh. Among the many sins of Nineveh was violence. The Ninevites loved to torture slaves and prisoners. They relished in the suffering of others. After defeating their opponents in battle, they would take the survivors as slaves, and they would do cruel, cruel things, like cut their eyes out, cut off their ears, their feet, pull out fingernails, cut off fingers, cutting out of the tongue. They're known for burning boys and girls alive, dashing babies to their death, skinning people alive and leaving them to die in the scorching sun, and of course, beheadings. Okay, everybody, now this concludes Jonah Part 2.